Okay, welcome. Try to get a little light on here. Welcome, Lori. I'm so grateful that you're here. It's good to see you. And welcome to everyone else that is dropping in. Grateful to have you. Just gonna let everyone that's planning to be here and to remain here, just to give everyone an opportunity to drop in. Hello, Becca. Let's see if that'll work. I know we've got a few from the group that are joining, so just gonna give everyone enough time to drop in. Welcome, Greg. So grateful you could make it, my dear. There's that blue again, Greg. It's here. And I love it because you put a blue heart in the chat. There's always a blue or indigo turquoise ray that shows up. And it's, now that I've cleaned my camera, it's pretty bright. Okay, welcome everyone. So just gonna give a few minutes because I know there's gonna be a lot of people that drop in and a lot of people that drop out. So just allowing those that are here that are aware of what is coming through and that are here to receive everything that's coming through, just giving those an opportunity to, show up, drop in, connect, and then we will move into the activated session. And I'm sure if you are coming here from Instagram, then you have received my post there, or Facebook because it shares it automatically. If you're just dropping in because you saw that there was a live, then if you saw anything in the description, then you are aware that what is happening here is an activation of our genetic coding on a higher dimensional, higher density scale. And there is a necessity to connect at a certain level for this. And so if you are new here and you actually do stay for the whole live, then I will be guiding you into a deep trance or meditative like state. It's a little bit different than meditation, actually. It's a deep trance state, which means you are aware of what's happening and your awareness is actively participating, but you're not trying to make anything happen. You are in a space of full unconditional surrender and unconditional acceptance, which means you are aware of your higher self. Your higher self is aware of you, and you're working cohesively as one. You're not separate. You don't have just like, it's not just your higher self as a guide. You are actually operating and cooperating through and as your higher self. So this process is one that really solidifies itself. It cements itself with practice, but you can connect immediately if you give yourself the permission slip to do so, which means you give yourself permission to allow a connection in a different way. Amina, so grateful to have you here, my dear. So if you're, sorry, I have to adjust this. I'm trying to allow this light in a little bit, because if not, it gets a little bit dark. Even though I've got lights on in here. So let me just get rid of some of these people. There we go. Oh, welcome, Anne. I'm so grateful you could make it. Yes, yes. Welcome, beautiful. Welcome, welcome. So thank you all. Thank you all. I do feel that we are probably getting to the point energetically where those that are here to fully receive are here. I do feel there might be a few more dropping in a few moments, but I do feel that the majority of us that are here are those that are planning to remain here. Now, I am going to speak into and reflect a few things before we get started, like I normally do, and provide some channeled guidance. And one thing that I would invite as you are receiving is to close your eyes. One of the messages that came through, welcome. One of the messages that came through for my group space in our last gathering was that your eyes don't actually see. It's an illusion. You know, we think that when we're looking through our eyes that we're actually looking at something, or that we're actually viewing something, that we're actually seeing something. But this is not fully true. I mean, obviously we see something, but we're not actually seeing or viewing in the way that we think we are. And the biggest thing that I have learned from these connections to my higher super is that I don't know what I think I know. That's been probably the biggest teacher for me, is that I don't know what I think I know, and I don't know what I think I know in the way that I think I know it. Everything that comes through is transcending everything I think I know. So as I used to approach these sessions, I would come into it with a plan. You know, I'm going to go in, we're going to do this, we're going to apply this, and we're going to receive this. And that was the part of me that held an egoic stance, that really wanted to provide an experience that was under my control, if you will, to be sure that other people could have a very powerful experience. But the power, the real power, began to show through when I began letting go of that. And I say this because I know there are a lot of those that are tuning in that are also channelers that offer their services and do forms of healing. And so my invitation is for you to let go of what you think you know and allow what comes through to reflect to you what it is you understand. What you understand is different than what you know. What you understand is a feeling, it's a sense, it's an experience. Just as I was just reflecting that your eyes don't see, your eyes are projecting. That's exactly what they're, projectors. They're projecting the reality that you believe, that you think, and that you feel. It's putting it all out there for you, and it's an illusion. Just like the image that you see, this body is an illusion. It's an overlay. It's a holographic overlay, if you will. It's a projection. So what we think we are experiencing in relation to the body, a lot of the times, especially if you're still experiencing polarities of identity, you're still weighing or judging your feelings. You're still weighing or judging each moment. You're comparing one moment to the next. You're in a space of either positivity or negativity. And these polarities are a part of the gene expression in their base form, if you will, if in their dualistic form, where we have, from my understanding, we have these expressions of light and shadow, but light and shadow are dualism, but dualism is an illusion. So Trinity is the truth, which means if you have light and you have dark, then you have a unified form of both. So therefore, 1 and 1 doesn't necessarily equal 2, but we can make it equal 2 if we want to. We can present dualism. And the reason why I'm sharing all of this with you is because as we go into these gene expressions, what's coming forward is a higher activated state. It's activating hormonal sequencing and amino acid sequencing that we don't access. It's literally basically dormant. It's there, but it's only accessible through the higher body, or what we tend to call the light body or the rainbow body. And this is, of course, only accessible through higher states of consciousness, not mind. Again, one of the biggest teachers, and those in my group space are aware of this. We were having a beautiful discussion and reflection in the space yesterday, was that a lot of people think they are connecting to their higher. They have an idea, they have a belief, they have an opinion. And because they think that it should appear in a certain way, or they think it should feel a certain way, if you feel what you think is resonant to your higher self, then you will apply that, and you will therefore declare, I'm connecting to my higher. Especially if your higher is still serving as a guide. Your higher serving as a guide means whatever your higher presents to you is falling through the filter of egoic belief, because you believe what you receive, right? Your guide ends up being an image that's outside of you. Now, this doesn't mean that it doesn't serve, because it's all you anyways. These gene code expressions are providing a higher crystalline composition, which means that their activated state is directly correlated to a higher activated state of you. The only way to unlock it is for you to be in that tone, and that tone is the higher self. Not just the higher self as a guide, but you as the connection point. You must be the bridge, and you must also build the bridge. So the only way to do this is to be in the experience of the higher super. And it gives you an opportunity to really understand your reality as it really is, instead of how you think it is, because there is a difference. We tend to catalog and categorize things, making it easier, making it more finite, giving us an opportunity to kind of place the infinite into a box, making it easier to understand. However, we tend to lose some of the truth through that process, because we are defining something that doesn't really have a definition. We give an end or a beginning to it when there is no end and beginning. We place a absolute, like I'm sure that in some books, or in some, maybe some biology books or something, there is an absolute listing of the gene expressions. I'm sure that there is something in some scientific study that says what the genes are and how they express, and how many there are, and what the sequencing is. I'm sure there is an absolute that is put out there. Another message that came through is that through a collective belief system, there is an opportunity to experience something as, oh, it is this and only this. But through your individual unique expression, you have an opportunity to break that mold, to simply be an expression in motion, and to be an infinite point of evolution, which means there's no beginning, there's no end, and yet there is. It's unified. And if it's unified, then you're a trinity, you're not a duality. And this begins to dissolve a lot of the barriers that create your reality to begin with, because you are your reality. Everything that exists is you. You're projecting it. You're the projector. Your eyes are seeing, hence projecting. So when we go into these experiences, especially if you're a very visual person, another thing that was discovered and reflected in the group space was that, images are a part of identity. You can look at a tree and you know what a tree is. You identify with the tree because you know what a tree looks like. But what if you had never seen a tree? What if you were blind? What if you had never learned how to read Braille? What if you weren't at that point yet? What if you just were able to sense? If you were able to sense, then there would be no images. There would be energy, there would be vibration, there would be sound. Now, this is the basis of everything. So I know a lot of people are very visual, but visuals tend to be misleading because you identify with what you know. And everything that's coming from your higher super is what you do not know. It's what you're remembering. And what you're remembering is something that goes into the realm of understanding, not the meaning of something that you already can identify with or as. So images tend to be an identity marker. They're easy, right? If I see it, then I know what I see, and I know what I see, and I identify with it. So my invitation is to pull yourself out of that limited range. It's a bandwidth. It's a part of your psyche to pull yourself out of that bandwidth energetically, pull yourself back and drop deeper into your body. And your body is an energetic vessel. I'm not talking about the physical material body. I'm talking about your body, your energy body, your light body, if you will. Your energetic body is different. It is a sensor. It is using all senses to perceive, not to perceive, but to sense everything. And it can go far beyond what you can even picture in terms of images. It's so large in its ability to receive that there really is no image that can properly relay the expansiveness. And so also too, sometimes with images, we tend to go on this journey where we go into the picture, but we have an experience, but we're visualizing what we think is happening instead of experiencing and sensing the feeling. Doesn't mean the feeling's not there, but the feeling that you get through sensing when you're not going in that direction is more intense, it's more expansive. It's a little bit different. Your astral body and your physical. So in terms of your layers of your aura, your astral and your physical body are very, very close together. Your light body is, think of, okay, your astral has an ascending point, just like your etheric has an ascending point. Your astral Buddhic is your ascending astral, and your etheric, your atmic, is your light body. So it's an ascending point of the energy bodies that you're accessing in the lower dimensional, lower densities. So when you go into your higher bodies, you're not accessing through the same energy bodies, and yet the same energy bodies are supporting in the energetic transference, if you will. So your astral body is actually a compilation of emotional memories. Your astral body it's basically a storehouse for how you feel about things. So if you feel, it's also, let's say, like fear. If you have a difficult time disconnecting from fear and you have all these different thoughts about what you are afraid of, you collect little entities of energy in your astral, little forms of energy that give you an opportunity to experience what is so energetically, basically devastating about fear, which is not only the disconnect from yourself, but the depreciation. Welcome, beautiful. I'm so grateful you're here. The depreciation, which means that in that depreciation, you're actually your own fear and your own memories of what you're afraid of feed on your physical body, which is why people get sick. It's why diseases, the illusion of diseases, the illusion of sicknesses. It's because we are energetically, we have these little energy pockets that, welcome, Louise. So grateful to have everyone here today. So yes, it's, and I know that there is, and what I experience, I do want to invite this in. I do feel that, and this is something in relation to the genes, we are accessing from higher consciousness through the Buddhic realm and the Atmic realm. Again, just different layers of energy, higher connections to consciousness, different realities. So when we talk about accessing higher dimensions, we are speaking about a higher essence of energy. It's basically when we go through these initiations, we are initiated through the energy bodies. So when you master the emotional, you go into the Buddhic. When you master the physical etheric, you go into the atmic, which means you no longer require an emotional, physical, illusionary reality to support you. You're leaving everything, because in order for us to experience what we experience here in the projection, we have a cord that connects us to the astral and a cord that connects us to the etheric to support the creation of the physical body. And when we quote unquote die or move on, those cords are pulled out. Your astral and your etheric are pulled out because they hold energy. So they're basically keeping you energetically in a field. So your etheric is your energetic support system for your physical. Your astral is, but mostly it's emotional. Okay, so it's a storehouse, and a lot of people experience when you start feeling unwell, it's because you have some heavy astral energies that are consistently connecting you into, like, if you think something and you have a certain belief about what you think and you're not willing to let go of that, then you will consistently connect into that line. So, and I'm very grateful that you asked this, and I do hope that it serves to assist others that are receiving it. So my invitation for everyone, especially because of these gene code activations, if you have been consistently aware of polarities, so I'm going to invite in something that came up in my group space. A lot of times we will share an experience, right? I had a beautiful sister share an experience, and we will share what we know. We have a lot of information. We provide a lot of information, especially if you're one that journals a lot or takes a lot of notes and you're using your analytical mind to receive, then you're still analyzing what you're receiving, which means there is an identity of you that is very familiar with what's coming in. It's identifying instead of the words coming from a space of, and this is something I've begun to understand about stuff dropping in. When we say something dropped in, well, where are we when something drops in? Well, we're awake, we're aware, our eyes are open, and we're focused using the projective mind. When you're focused using the projective mind, then you are projecting an identity and you are making note of what you think you are receiving from your higher court of consciousness. And your higher court of consciousness does not speak, it does not express in the same way that you do, not in the identity of you. It does not. It speaks differently, it expresses differently. It's almost like it. It's almost like a riddle, but not really. It's a message, but it's not just a message of support. It's not just like it's not telling you that you're love and that you're light. It's not a message of support. No, it's an actual line of information. It's very clear. It's very to the point, but it's speaking differently. For those in my group space, each of you, this is what, when it comes through, whenever I reflect in a way that speaks, that offers a complete, just even like now, it's offering a complete package. But in that complete package, there is an infinite array of doors that you can walk through and understand, which means it's not just in the words that you're hearing. It's not just in the direct message. It is, but it isn't. There's much more to it. And so if you allow yourself to receive beyond the analytical mind, then you're not trying to remember everything. You're not trying to make note of everything. You don't need to, because you're aware of everything, which means you don't need to remember everything. So the identity of self that wants to remember, that wants to have the information, that wants to know, is the one that can present it as what it knows. Now, when a reflection of this comes in and says, you're speaking from a polarity, you're providing all that you know, but what do you understand about it? You can tell me everything you know, but what do you actually understand? Then comes the other part of the identity, that says, well, I don't really know why. I don't really know why it came in. I don't really know what it is. I just know that it came in and I accept it. And of course, accepting and receiving it is a very beautiful thing. But this is what I know and I don't know why are polarities. They're dualism. They're identity markers. And this is how our genes naturally, normally express. Now, if we take this and we unify it and we allow a higher space of self to walk in, then we receive the unifying marker of the genes, which is higher superconsciousness. And if we allow this to walk in, then it's not about what we know. It has nothing to do with what we know. And as a matter of fact, everything that you have ever retained in terms of information and what you know should go out the window. Because this is a space of infinite wisdom and infinite understanding, which means it is a different vibrational tone. It's still you, and everything that you think you know is within it, but it's different. It speaks from a space that, and receives from a space, expresses from a space that is able to mirror that infinite absolution. So when you go into the receiving, and I would also invite in at any point in time, when you go into any receiving or provide anything through your channel, release the need to prepare. You don't have anything to present. You don't need to prepare. You don't need to have notes. Give yourself an opportunity to be that authentic channel where you are expressing openly and just speaking, expressing the truth of the infinite and the wisdom that expresses through you as your signature. And give yourself an opportunity to allow your genes to be that supporting mechanism that provides that. So especially, I just came to the awareness. There was a beautiful sister in my group space that brought into the group the awareness that there is a book about gene keys or gene codes or something to that degree. So I'm very grateful to have been able to witness just how some of the things that were coming through were reflected through other works. If you have retained information around any of this, give yourself an opportunity to see what is here through you in relation to the genes that isn't reflective through what is basically dictated through another. It doesn't mean that that's not accurate. It doesn't mean that it's not truthful, and it doesn't mean that it's not a beautiful reflection. Give yourself permission to discover. Give yourself permission to step outside of the box and use whatever is brought through in such works as a reflection, right? But not as a absolute. Because when we go into experiences of energy, the experience, it's a little bit different, right? We can receive so much more because we're actually in it. And then such things as that can reflect back to us the beauty of what we've received. But we don't, this allows it to be a bit more free so that you can be in a space of full receiving without needing to follow along to what you think you know. So, yeah, I'm really excited to bring this through. So if you guys are ready, we will get started. And I will guide everyone to the best of my ability on connecting in to give you an opportunity to be able to go into a higher space of receiving so that you can not only receive more of yourself, but hopefully where your mind isn't interfering. Because when you reach a certain space of consciousness, there's no more mind. You don't hear anything anymore. And so if you have a lot of mind intrusions, then it's a necessity to go higher, to allow yourself to be able to breach through that. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't hear or experience anything. If you ask, you will receive, but it's not intrusive. The mind is very intrusive. The mind wants to tell you everything. Higher super is just a space of, well, if you ask, you'll receive, but it's not going to tell you everything. Okay. All right, my loves, just go ahead and allow yourself to begin dropping in. And an invitation, if you're normally busy doing other things while this is happening, please give yourself permission to pause and to go all in. It's an easy avenue to, just be busy and to be doing. But you don't give yourself an opportunity to really discover the fullness of yourself. Allow yourself to keep your eyes closed the entire time, although it is, again, a bit seductive to want to open the eyes and see what's going on, but you don't need to know what's going on. You're aware of everything with your eyes closed. Another invitation, if you are in an area where there's a lot of sounds, or maybe you have animals, or by a street, or whatever the case may be, an invitation is to use those sounds as a gateway. Instead of perceiving it as a distraction, you can use it as a gateway to enhance your senses. Just like if a cat or something walks up, you can actually request. Ask the cat if you can use the vessel, the vehicle, to support your journey, and the cat, with permission, will fall asleep and allow you to, same with a dog, and to assist you in bringing more through. You can use anything, everything as a gateway. It doesn't mean that the consciousness of spirit is not still accessible through the animal. It always is. But you have given a personality to that animal with a name. And when that personality steps out, just like when your personality steps out, spirit is able to operate. Okay, I would invite you to begin focusing on your breath. Just becoming aware of the rise and the fall of the breath. Becoming aware of the sensations. Becoming aware of the sound. Allowing yourself to become aware of the senses. For your senses are the relaying point of this experience. Setting the intention to bring everything from the eyes and the mind into the heart. You do not need to see any images. You do not need to project your way forward. Just give yourself the permission slip to be present in the heart, not in the mind, and to sense And just giving yourself an opportunity to recognize through your breath and through your senses, becoming aware of everything. And now I would invite you to just rub your fingertips together, once again, tuning into the sensation, beginning to connect to the vessel and the vehicle even deeper. And you can also place a hand on your heart. But I do feel like the rubbing of the fingertips really provides an opportunity to connect to the sensation. And then just go ahead and drop your hands down. And giving yourself the invitation now to release yourself from the mind and to begin walking into higher super. Remembering that you are the source of everything. As an extension of spirit, you are, yes, you have, and you get to be the identity of something. Giving yourself the permission slip now to let go of the identity and what you think you know, to be able to receive all that you do not yet know. And I'm going to invite everyone to connect into my field to assist in guiding. So I'm going to invite everyone to just simply declare, I accept, I receive, I accept, I allow. Remembering that there is no distance. We are here together as one through the higher self. We are unified in consciousness. And through this connection point, we become the Trinity. You, me, we. Okay, moving out of lower into higher. And moving higher. You do not have to try to connect. As soon as you hear the words and you recognize, you are there. You are aware, so therefore you exist. And moving higher. Opening the vessel to allow higher super to walk in. Allowing you to be a channel and a conduit for spirit. Now allow yourself to become aware of the sensations. Allow yourself to become aware of what you feel, but more what you sense. Allow yourself to sense the expansiveness. Allow yourself to sense all that you are. Becoming aware of the magnetic pull of the higher. You're probably aware that you're sitting up pretty straight. You may be aware also that you might be feeling a slight pull up on your head, almost like you're beginning to levitate, but also almost like a bobblehead. Because from this space, you are aware of yourself as the animator and the animation. Opening and activating Earth Star. Becoming aware of the sensations through the open and active Earth Star. Opening and activating the root. Opening, activating sacral. Opening, activating solar plexus. Opening, activating heart. Opening, activating throat. Opening, activating third eye. Opening, activating crown. Opening, activating soul star. Now, opening, activating, and unifying, allowing the space to be open, active, and unified. Coming into the central space, coming into the central channel through the open and active energy centers. All energy centers are open, active, and in orbit. Earth star orbit active, soul star orbit active. Opening, activating sun, activating orbit. Opening, activating cosmic star, activating orbit. Opening, activating universal star, activating orbit. And opening, activating spirit star, activating orbit. And just allowing yourself to become aware of the intensity of the active energy centers and the stars. And we expand out into the aura. Now, the aura constitutes of many layers. It is also a magnetic shield. Now, from this space that we are moving, we are absorbing, which means everything from these energy centers and everything from the aura is feeding back in on itself. We are using the light. We are using our energy centers as we should, as the source, which means we are aware and we can allow ourselves to use our light and absorb our own light to support the experience, but to also support the activation. And moving higher. moving high. And calling everyone into the Buddhic plane. Disconnecting from the lower. Okay. Sealing the grid, disconnecting from lower. Now give yourself an opportunity to tune into all that you are aware of. You might have become aware of the sensation. It felt like you were moving up or expanding out, almost like you're rising above and seeing things, almost like an elevator rising up. And even though what you're seeing is not, you're not actually looking down as you're viewing, it's not like you're looking at an image, but you're sensing, you can sense the movement. You can sense the energetic dimensionality. And from this space, we open and receive all that is here for the activated gene expressions. So please declare, I accept, I receive, I accept, I allow. And from space, we are open, accepting, and allowing, calling forth the gene expressions for activation. 72, 44, 33. Opening and activating the DNA, opening and activating the genes. We'll begin with 72. Opening, receiving. Gene expression 72, activating. And just allow yourself to openly receive as the energy comes in. It's pretty intense, very intense. I'm experiencing it from the heart up through the crown and the third eye, but all around as well. Now, 72 came through last time, and I'm hearing it as a unifier. It is the unifier. It is also reducing to 9. Let us open the blood, opening the gateways of the blood. Activating the Sangria. Now opening the Sangreal, the royal line. Remember, it is not what you think it is. It is a tone of collective energy. This royal line is the line that we are all connected to as a collective. We are all a part of our divine spirit, divine source. And through the open and active Sangreal, we open, receive, and anchor into 72. Gene expression 72. Very powerful expression. Now let us go into gene expression 44, activating gene expression 44, calling forth gene expression 44. Opening and activating this through the lines of super and the lines of higher. Again, if you'll notice, the sensations are different. The sensations are different. You can feel the bandwidth. You can feel how the energy is flowing. Anchoring into gene expression 44. In connection with the Sangreal. Allow yourself to just simply let go and receive. If you are leading with any form of identity, if you're leading with anything, if you're trying to understand, if you're trying, you will feel some intense contraction instead of expansion. Allow yourself to expand. Give yourself the freedom to let go. It's not about what you know. It's about allowing yourself to open and experience all that you are. And now opening and receiving the activated gene expression of 33. Opening and activating gene expression 33 through the higher super. In connection with the Sangreal. Again, very specific, very unique signatures. Allowing yourself to be aware and awake. A trance state is a deep state, but it is not a state of sleep. It's a deep state of relaxation, but you're also aware. Because again, you are the animation and you're also the animator. And now we call forth the unifying connection, unifying 72, 44, and 33. Calling them into the Trinity. And just allowing yourself to open and experience and of course, all of this anchors, all of this moves. It is intelligent. Everything is moving, everything is opening, everything is anchoring in the exact will and through the exact power of our higher super as spirit. and accepting that all is working in divine order. And since we are in the space of higher super, the operation of willpower is not to control, it is to allow. And as I invite everyone into the awareness of the heart center and intensifying this, allowing yourself to become aware of the intense magnetic field that is accompanying these expressions. Now, these are activating. Again, activating sequencing in relation to the hormones, in relation to amino acids that are not in our atomic table, if you will. These are molecular compositions that are only active from the space of connection. Now, are some of the known molecular compositions playing a role? Absolutely. They're assisting in the transition. So your genetic makeup, there's a new bridge being built. And your vessel, your vehicle is remembering. And every single time we go into the space and we connect and we activate and we open up the gene expressions, we are, in essence, losing, if you will, or transitioning, shall we say, out of the organic. We're transitioning ourselves a little bit at a time. Eventually, energetically, we will be able to, through the bridge that is built to the rainbow body, we will be able to move fully into the Atmic. But that's, again, these are all initiations. You must first be able to move into the Buddhic and then the Atmic. But it requires access, right? Everything is an initiation into the next. Once you have mastered and you are in a space of letting go, where you don't need to control and you don't need to apply and you don't need to approach in the way that you have been, then the gateway opens and you transcend. You are enlightened. And then you are initiated into the next realm or into the next reality. And in this space, you can sense just how expansive that you really are. And now we come back into the representation of the gene expressions. So calling forth 33 once again. And I'm going to ask the question, and the question is a gateway. There is no right or wrong answer. As a matter of fact, there's no such thing. The question that is being asked is to reflect in relation to your signature, which means whatever you receive in relation to this question is exactly as it is intended for you. So therefore, I'm not going to answer out loud. I do not want to lead. The question is, what is the main expression of the gene code 33? And whatever you hear is how gene code 33 is serving you. Now calling forth gene expression 44. Now that gene expression 44 has been unlocked, how is gene expression 44 serving? And moving into 72. Now that 72 has been unlocked and the expression is active, how is 72 serving? And thank you. Can definitely sense the beauty and the power in these expressions. You are able to become aware that each of them is operating in relation to consciousness because each of them is very unique in its expression, and each expression of consciousness is unique. There is no one that is like the other. There is no set, meaning there's no set duality. There's no absolute. It is an expression. And it has an opportunity through each of us and our signatures to express uniquely. And you can also sense the power as each one represents a very unique signature of power of the crystalline. Now, crystalline is just simply a different organic composition. We have a tendency to place a lot of identities around what we think crystalline is, what it looks like. That's what we become very concerned with, what it looks like, what's the identity of the crystalline, very similar to the Christos and the crystalline body. There's a lot of identity around that. Please give yourself permission to release the identity. You do not know what this is. You may know what you think it is. But with that, there is a polarity of also what you think it is not. In order for it to be a trinity of all, you must release whatever it is you think. To allow it to come together. And just taking some moments here to allow the experience of 72, 44, and 33 as a trinity. To experience the sensations. Because remember, these expressions are in a connection with a body of light, not organic. It's not the image of the organic, and it's not the image of the projection that you know through what you see in the mirror. What you see in the mirror is also a reflection of fourth density and fourth dimension. You're not actually seeing what you think you're seeing. All mirrors are gateways into the next dimension and the next density. Which means this body, this atomic build, is of a different dimension, a different density, and it does not operate in the lower realms. But we are building it. We can experience the sensations of it. And when we fully build it and we are ready, we will move onward. Now calling in all crystalline compositions to assist and support the integration from the fifth dimension and fifth density. Calling these in to support the previous activated gene expressions that came through. For those in my group, you might also feel a more enhanced experience because you are also experiencing that layer. And now expanding the crystalline and inviting these crystalline compositions to work in supporting the technology and let us move a little higher, moving into the next higher range of super consciousness. And from this space, inviting in any higher design to support the organic overlay. So now that we have activated the gene expressions, we will now invite in a higher design to support the organic reality. So going up into the design, going up into the blueprint, activating. And remember, the design isn't something, it's not an object. It's not a subject matter, it's not a thing. It is a space of receiving. It is a, shall we say, a specific vibrational overlay, which means it's just energy. So opening through the universal star, opening and receiving the design. Allowing yourself to become aware of how this feels and what you sense. And opening through the cosmic star, receiving the design. And it's coming in through the Sun Star, receiving the design. Ooh, these are some really intense currents. I can definitely see how the gene activations are working to support the intensity. Receiving the design through the Soul Star. And now receiving the design through all the energy centers coming in through the crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root, and now anchoring the design through the Earth Star. Pulling it all in. I'm hearing these gene expressions are the builders. And reanimating into the design. And opening gene expression 72 for the receiving. Gene expression 72, active and openly receiving the design and also supporting. I'm hearing and receiving that this is an opportunity for the genes to work as builders. Super is expressing. Yes, yes, we are expressing the necessity of these builders. 72, open, expressing and openly, actively participating in the building of the design, supporting, receiving. Gene expression 44, openly receiving the design. And gene expression 33, openly receiving and supporting and building. And just taking some moments here just to become aware. The more that you become aware of the experience, the more that the experience reflects back to you the power of all that you are aware of. You can really feel the power of this body, if you will. It's a completely different body. There is no, I don't feel my bones. I don't feel my joints. I don't feel my nervous system. I don't feel pain. I don't feel any of that. It's not physical. It's a different body. If you're aware of this, if you have breached the threshold and sealed yourself from the lower image, you can sense and experience that it is different. It's almost like you're floating. It's very light. Now, oh, that's interesting. I'm hearing as we prepare to move from this, wrap this a little bit, I'm feeling called to shift it. Let us bring 33 to the top. So calling 33 to the top. And then 44. And then 72. Different. Yes, I can feel 72 moving underneath, supporting. It's interesting. Inviting in an opportunity to become aware that these expressions are not in a permanent space. They're expressions. They can move. And this is what is being relayed, is that shift in what we would say is polarity, as above, so below. So you can shift the as above and so below in these higher expressions, because there's no absolute, if you will. The only absolute is the awareness. You can reverse the mirror. And that is what fourth dimension is reversing the mirror. Seeing beyond, but also seeing within, and seeing that things aren't what you thought they were. Not what you've been taught. I even feel that the planes that we identify with are different than what we think. This is something that was coming through at the very beginning, even in relation to the Buddhic and the Atmic. I understand that we are using them as a tool now of identity, but I actually feel that there is something there that's more than what we know. So releasing that, and let us open up and invite the gateway beyond that. So just moving up into the next highest range of super. Of the planes. Reality is simply just in the existence, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Let us begin to decompress a little, and we'll see what comes through as we begin to decompress. Decompressing, coming down. Decompressing. Decompressing. And from this space of decompression, we anchor the core. And decompressing. Opening up the ceiling. We sealed off the lower. So just opening that reality back up. And decompressing. And just feeling, you might begin to feel some different sensory receptors coming in. Like my back, my lower back is slightly a little uncomfortable. So now coming back into that reality of that nervous system. So coming in, and just becoming aware of the different sensations. Decompressing and landing. Coming back into the image, if you will. And just anchoring into the image and decompressing. And just take a moment. Allowing yourself to land. And calling into the image to the capacity at which is available through the nervous system. Bringing in the information of the gene expressions. Bringing in the patterns of the new design. Taking a moment here and allowing everything to come into and through the brainstem. There it comes. bringing everything into and through the image, anchoring the information of the design, anchoring the information of the body to the capacity at which is available for the image. And just allow yourself to feel and sense all that is coming in. And how it is moving in and through you and also around you. Allowing a redesign of the nervous system. And just allowing that for whatever it is, not putting an identity of what we think it needs to be or how we think it needs to feel. Allowing. Yeah, very beautiful. You can feel that coming in. You can feel that working. Bringing in the information of the amino acids and the hormones. Taking a few moments for the information of the hormones and the information of the amino acids to come in. Amino acids are our little builders. I'm sensing them as the in-between. The higher gene expressions are relaying the information to the hormones, or relaying the information to the amino acids. The higher gene expressions are the body of the higher. We go into that body, and when we are, let's say, at a point of completion in this reality, we will then fully move on. Definitely feeling that. That is very beautiful. Okay, fully anchoring information. And fully anchoring it through the blood and the nervous system. The sangreal is a higher line. We go into that line to vibrationally activate, and then we come back in to anchor into the organic reality. There we go. Just allowing yourself to fully anchor. It's very interesting how small everything gets. I can feel it as we're coming down and we're part of reality and everything. It's a very intense magnetic field, but it's also small. Okay. All right. We are fully in, fully received, and fully anchored. I thank you all. I thank you. I thank you for receiving. What a beautiful journey. What a beautiful experience. And Now, these will continue for those that are in my group space. I will be bringing these through consistently. If anyone is interested in receiving these consistently, then please reach out and you are welcome to join the space. The space is not just for this. There's a lot that is taking place there always, but it is donation based for a month. And just inviting in that it is for a month. So I know many people ask me, and I'm just going to go ahead and answer it here in case anyone is interested. Everyone always asks, well, what do people normally donate? So I do have a base range that I do request because it is for a month, and sometimes people will come in and want to, without having an awareness. So the baseline for that is 122 for a month. And anything, I have everyone donating from 122 up to 277. So anything in between there, or whatever, there is a lot that is received. Right now, this is the main. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for receiving. Right now, this is one of the focal points of the group space, but I do bring through a lot in there. So we also have a WhatsApp group. So if you're interested in trying it out and seeing all that comes through, you can try it out for a month. And I also offer guidance and higher self-reflection and mirroring as well. You have an opportunity to drop in on a daily basis if you would like and receive higher reflective guidance. So I'm always active in that space. So thank you for receiving. I'm just still feeling how everything is energetically coming in and moving. It's very beautiful. It's very interesting. I could feel whenever I first landed into the nervous system, the sensations that were what I was feeling them prior, and then I can feel a shift. I can feel where the information has shifted. So the reality and the design is creating differently through the nervous system. Yeah, it's definitely different. I'm not feeling the same sensations. Which means that as soon as not only you are aware of what you are receiving, but you are then the willpower to designate, not by control, but by allowing. Thank you so much for receiving. But you designate through the allowing of anchoring the design, but allowing that design to relay what is necessary without you trying to say, well, I need to not have pain, or I need to, you don't dictate what you don't need or what you do need, because it's not about what you think you need, what you think you don't need. It's about allowing, and you allow the light of you to come in and work, because you are the light, you are the source, you are the will, and you are the power. So thank you for receiving. It absolutely is, Mina. Love that. I love that. 33 rejuvenation for you, 44 sword of truth, beautiful, like cutting through the illusion, and 7-2 is home. I love it. Thank you for sharing what your signature reflection of that was. I love that. I love that. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. I love experiencing, and now with the awareness of what's actually taking place, going through these higher layers of consciousness and reality. It's a beautiful experience of sensing how each feels and how each provides, and also too with the with the awareness of just how we can bring that into the image. It's been a very beautiful journey of discovery, um, of learning and understanding how the different layers of reality are operating. And if we can let go of what we think we know in relation to the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and how we work in those layers, if we can just let that all go and just say, okay, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I think I know. I mean, I obviously do. But if I can just let go of that and I can allow myself to sense what else is beyond that. Because if you think about it, a lot of what we operate from in practice is by the design of information. We've read it somewhere. Someone's taught it to us. We've been taught. And then if we've been taught it and it's been information that's been passed down, then is it authentically us or is it the information? If it's the information, then we can wield the information and we can use the information to the best of our ability, but that's also what we're doing. We're wielding what we've been taught. I do feel like when we step into ourselves authentically, then we see beyond what we are analytically hoarding. And we can see beyond the veil of the information. So thank you all. Thank you for being present and receiving. Thank you for reflecting and sharing. I am so grateful to go on these journeys with you. And yeah, also too, reminder, my one-on-ones are open right now. I don't have any availability until next month, but my one-on-ones are open. I do have the 75-minute sessions, which are fully donation based. And then I have the longer ones that are a bit more in depth, that are range from 155 to 211. Those are approximately 2 hours. So sometimes they go a little bit beyond that, but I do my best energetically not to go beyond 2 hours. So we simply move through the experience and allow all to come through. I know a lot of people like to know what's happening in the session, but the session is unique to you and unique to your receiving, which means the design of the session is based on you. And so we go into it and that design comes in based on whatever is most necessary and needed. But right now, one of the themes is to guide others into their connection with our higher super so that you can sense everything that is there for you to receive. That is one of the key factors of this. So yeah, just letting everyone know it's available. Please reach out if you're interested. And I will put the information in the description. For those of you that are already connected, you can reach me on Instagram. Of course, I will put my email here for anyone that is not connected with me, and you can let me know when you're interested in booking. So yeah, thank you all. I love you so much. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next live. And I am sure I will soon. But of course, if you would like to receive more, you're welcome to join the group space. So, all right. Love you all. Until next time. Adonai.